Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, Living Healthy on a Budget. Before we do get started, just a couple of items to take care of. We will hopefully have time for questions at the end of the presentation, and you can type those into the question box in the lower portion of your control panel. We will be posting a recording of the webinar online, but if you would like a copy of the presentation in PDF format, or if your question does not get answered today, please email our support inbox, which will be shown at the end as well. Okay, let's get started. Today we're going to be talking about living healthy while still being mindful of those pocketbooks. I'm going to cover all the aspects of health, and in some ways you can pinch the pennies at the same time, but not the results. I will cover nutrition, exercise, stress, and sleep. So we're going to cover pretty much everything today. Let's dive right into it with nutrition. This is probably what most of you are here to learn about. I hear this all the time. It's too expensive to eat healthy. Here's the deal. Sometimes certain foods can be more expensive, yes, but not as often as you would think. I'm going to ask you to think big picture here, not just that one avocado or whatever it may be. So let's start with a few things to look at when you're trying to eat healthy but have some budget constraints. First thing, plan ahead. I made this in capitals for a reason. Anything, whether it be budget, goal, whatever it is, starts with planning. And here's the first thing I want you to know about planning ahead. It's a habit, just like anything else, so it's going to take practice. I haven't gone to the grocery store without a meal plan and list for about 5 years, but it also took me about a year to get myself into the habit. It takes time, so be patient with yourself. Start by finding the healthier recipes you want to make. Lots of stuff online, or if you know stuff already, fantastic. Write down all the ingredients, or do what I do and download a notepad app on your phone so you've always got that list with you. Make sure you have meals to cover all week, including breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, everything. And on a side note here, plan for leftovers. If you're going to make meals, you might as well make a double batch and have it for 2 nights, right? Or think about how much that single batch is, and maybe you already have enough for leftovers, maybe for lunch the next day. Don't overcook where you don't have to. That's where we get some food waste and money waste. If you or your family members have a problem with leftovers, this is something I suggest setting as a goal to get over that. Leftovers that go to waste is like throwing your money right in the garbage disposal with that food. Also, you can make different meals with certain leftovers. For example, leftover chicken can be made into crock-pot soup or chicken tacos the next night. Like I said, it all comes down to planning. And stick to your list. You need to have a purpose for buying the food you buy. If you just go and say, oh, this looks good, but you don't have a place for it within a meal, then more likely than not, that food's going to go to waste. This is specifically true for fruits and veggies and those perishable foods. You have to plan to use them, then they don't go to waste. Again, I hear all the time, well, I buy a bunch of healthy foods, but then it all goes bad before I have a chance to eat them. Then eat them. Seriously, it's not complicated, guys, but it does take planning. You need meals that involve those foods. If you don't have meals that involve those foods, don't buy them that week. You don't have to buy healthy foods just because they're healthy. You need to have a focus for them and a plan for them. And if you can only buy certain veggies, for example, in bulk, then again, make a double batch and either eat it for a couple nights, or if it works, freeze it and eat it later. This is something that a lot of people don't necessarily think of. If you don't want to waste those perishable foods, you can always cook it up right away and then freeze it, or stick it in the fridge so you can eat it later that week. If you look up healthy freezer meals online, you're going to get a million options. A lot of those meals involve simply dumping the frozen ingredients into a crock pot before you go to work and then coming home to a lovely smelling house and a wonderful meal. What's better than that? Let's go back to what I said about buying in bulk just for a second. Buying in bulk saves money too, but again, you actually need to use the food that you buy. Otherwise, you're just wasting that food and, again, wasting your money. You can buy some airtight containers or even go as far as buying a vacuum sealer if you really want to get into it, because that will save you money in the long run, again, just with food waste. But again, only do it when it makes sense and when it actually saves you money. So again, plan, and plan again. Oh, one last note. Do not go to the store hungry. You're just asking for trouble if you do that. Moving on, buying in season. Supply and demand lesson here is if a fruit or a veggie is in season, that means that there's a good amount of it, right? So when there's more of something, the price is generally going to go down. Fruits and veggies are usually in season in the summer and fall, so stock up. Farmers markets are a great resource for in-season foods. Prices at farmers markets can be very different though from stand to stand, so make sure you wander around and compare those prices. Also, when you hit the farmer's market can make a difference. Go towards the end and you might just score a great deal on foods that farmer is looking to get rid of because they've got a lot of excess too, right? That's why they're selling it. Again, if you buy more than you think you'll eat that week, freeze it. If you freeze foods at their peak, those nutrients stay with them. So you will get all the benefits of a great July strawberry in December. On that note, if you don't have any frozen foods around in winter, if you didn't plan ahead like that, hit the grocery store and you can buy frozen fruits and veggies there. Like I said, if it's frozen when it's ripe, it will retain almost all of those benefits. And frozen fruits and vegetables are extremely reasonable when it comes to price. You cannot argue with me there. You can get frozen bags of veggies for $1 that will feed and be a great side for your whole family. Let's touch on organic versus non-organic for just a minute. Now, organic foods are typically more expensive than non-organic. So if it's not in your budget to buy all organic, then focus on trying to buy as much as you can while staying within your price range. And one thing to help you with that is that not all fruits and veggies have the same risks of carrying pesticide residue as others. And if you don't know, that's why we buy organic, is because of the residues and stuff that they use on some of those veggies to keep the bugs off. Some of you may have heard of the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 list. This is a list that has the foods that you should try to buy organic and ones that aren't necessarily that important to look for organic. For example, sweet corn, pineapples, cantaloupe, cauliflower, and grapefruit were all on the Clean 15 list for this year. It makes sense if you look at it. Most of these foods have a protective outer layer that we don't eat, so that's going to protect it against those pesticides, so those things aren't going to necessarily get into the part that we're going to eat. The foods that are on the Dirty Dozen list or that are more likely to be exposed are those things like strawberries, spinach, apples, and tomatoes. Again, makes sense, right? Because we eat those whole things and they're vulnerable to the pesticides that can get sprayed on them. So again, just keep that in mind when you're shopping so you can save money in certain areas where you might want to spend a little more in others. But again, it all comes down to planning and budget. And on that same note, look for sales. This kind of goes along with buying in bulk. If you can find something that is getting close to its expiration date, especially proteins like our chicken, our beef, our turkey, fish, you can find some fantastic deals. Buy it up and buy a couple extra if you have enough in the budget for that week, and then freeze those extras for another time. Look at coupons and ads as well. That's going to help you plan ahead so you can include those meals that week that will include whatever foods are on sale. And this is the only exception to my stick to the list rule. If you run across a great deal that you didn't see, and if it's realistic for you to spend a little bit of extra money on it that week, then by all means buy it. But then don't forget you bought it and discover it a year down the road when you clean out your freezer, right? We've all done that. Make a note and have a meal plan for the next week. Don't miss the unit price on the labels either. That's that little number in the corner of the price tag that's on the shelf that tells you what you are paying per unit. There can be a really big difference there, so keep your eyes peeled. I know I've purchased larger package before, only to notice that it was actually more expensive per unit than the smaller package. So while it's usually the case, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get a better deal if you buy more of something. Again, details, details, details. Pay attention to those things. It's going to save you money in the long run. And look for generic brands as well. Most stores will have their own brand right beside the nationally known brands, and they're usually exactly the same thing, but cheaper. We pay a lot more for things because of what it says on the box. So again, read the labels. If the ingredients are the same, buy the generic brand. Also, with the age of online grocery shopping here as well, take advantage of that. A specific site that I'm going to name drop here is brandless.com. It has organic and healthy options at very reasonable prices, and some of our coaches do actually use it, so you know it's legitimate and you know it's a good option. And then lastly here, store your food properly. If you want to make perishable foods last as long as you can without freezing them, storing it properly is essential. Now, I'm not going to go into how to store your strawberries, how to store your apples, things like that. There are a million tips I can share with you, but do your own research online for best practices that you can do. But actually using your produce drawer for produce and looking up which foods should be refrigerated and which foods should not can make the difference between you being able to eat it and then letting it go to waste. So again, it's all about the details, all about planning. Do your own research, find out what's the best practices for storing that food. A lot of times we get caught up on the prices of those proteins as well. I already mentioned looking for sales, and you don't need to spend a ton of money to get in some great protein options. Think outside the box. I put a couple of options here, but also keep in mind my other tips like buying in bulk and freeze for later too, if you like what you like. A simple swap is buying chicken thighs rather than chicken breasts. Same protein source, typically cheaper. Use black beans with your beef or turkey burgers to make the protein go further. You can make a few more patties, and you add in some great nutrients that come with black beans as well. Tuna packets are extremely cheap and can be stashed anywhere as a quick protein snack. Again, very, very cheap, very good source of protein, healthy fats, things like that. Eggs, another fantastic, cheap protein option. Take a dozen scrambled eggs, throw in some peppers and spinach if you've got it, and you have a meal for the whole family, less than $10, easily less than $10. Let's talk water. Water is fantastic. You can save a ton of money simply by drinking water rather than those juices and the sodas that some of you may be drinking. Coffee, I'm okay with coffee, but sometimes we can cut down a little bit on the amount, drink water instead, and it's way healthier for you. Those of you who drink bottled water can save money by using tap water instead. If you're concerned with your tap water quality, you can purchase a cheap filter that fits right on your faucet, or you can get one of those jugs that filters. Those are all over the place. It's still going to be cheaper than buying bottled water every week. Plus, it is extremely more helpful for the environment. So think about those types of things too. Better for your pocketbook, better for the environment. Cut your own veggies. We all love that pre-cut, pre-sliced, pre-diced fruits and veggies, but they do come at a cost. They are more expensive. If the convenience doesn't fit in your budget for the pre-sliced, then buy those whole foods and take some time to prep them yourself. It really doesn't take that long. If you can, make it a priority right when you get home from the store, and then it's done. Do it all at once, store it in some airtight containers, put it in the fridge or wherever it's supposed to be stored, and you've got that stuff for the week. Finally, if you don't want to pay for your food, grow it yourself. There are so many great tips. Again, I'm going to point you online because you guys have to do your own work here sometimes. But even if you don't have a yard, you can grow small plants like grape tomatoes or herbs and spices, things like that on your windowsill. More herbs, not spices necessarily. That's what container gardening is. It's purchasing pots or containers to grow your food. If you have a bit more room, try square foot gardening. You section your garden little area off by feet, and then you grow a new plant in each of those areas. So again, peppers, tomatoes, whatever it is, you can grow all those in not a big space. And seeds are extremely cheap, and they're the gifts that keep on giving, right? You take the seeds from the food you grow this year, and voila, you've got your seeds for next year too. So it saves you money for years and years to come. And it's a great family opportunity to get together too, you know, do that gardening, all that fun stuff. All right, I am going to move on to exercise. Gyms can be expensive, absolutely, and sometimes that extra money does need to go elsewhere. Believe it or not long ago, in fact, gyms were not on every street corner. But you say, Shelby, how did people stay active then? Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You can get your heart rate elevated and work your muscles pretty much anywhere. So here are some tips on staying physically healthy on the cheap. First, take a walk. You can walk anywhere, inside, outside, in your cubicle even. Just get up and walk. Call up your friends, call up your family, go tap a coworker on the shoulder and ask them to go for a walk over lunch tomorrow. If possible, have a walking meeting instead of sitting in a conference room at work. If you have a kid, if you have a dog, if you have a cat that likes walks, if you have a ferret that likes walks, whatever it is, if they like walks, go for a walk. It's just as good for them as it is for you. Sometimes we just need to get over that motivation, use that time that we've got, 10 or 15 minutes even, get out there, get a walk in with that pet or your child. If you don't have any kids or a pet, then drive or walk if it's close enough over to the nearest humane society and ask them about volunteering to walk the shelter animals. This will not only get you in some good cardio, but it's going to make you feel great too, right? Nobody wants to see those pets in there. If you can do a little bit to help them, that's wonderful. If you want to do something different to mix things up, use what you have at home. And that starts with yourself, your body. Bodyweight exercises like squats, lunges, push-ups, crunches, for example, are all great ways to build muscle, no fancy equipment required. Again, head online, look up some options for bodyweight workouts. There are a million, and I'm not even exaggerating that number. Little thing here, again, make sure you're checking with your doctor if you're starting any exercise routines. Make sure that you're fit for exercise, and especially some of those that might be more intense. YouTube has a lot of great workouts for free. Really anything you can imagine is on there. There are great workout videos out there to purchase as well, but a lot of them are available to check out at your local library too. The library is a great resource for a lot of things, but people don't know that many carry workout videos. So check with your local library, see if they can help mix up that workout for free. If you're looking to add some weight to your workout, look no further than your kitchen. Soup cans and milk jugs are great options to replace dumbbells. Just make sure that lid is on tight. Stairs are also one of my personal favorite options. If you have stairs at home, fantastic. Set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes, head up and down as many times as you can. If you don't have stairs, take a walk to a local park or parking ramp if you're in the city and use those. I do that at lunch. You may have heard that in other webinars. I push that a lot. It's one of my favorites. Stairs are an incredible total body workout. They're right there for you to use. Another option for at-home working out is cleaning. I know, I hate cleaning too, but you can make it a workout so you can at least get something out of it. Vacuum a little faster. Take that laundry basket and do some lunges while you carry it to the bedrooms to put the clothes away. Jog while you're picking up the endless amounts of superhero action figures strewn about the house. That last one might just be me, but you get the picture. We all are picking up stuff all day long. So make it a little quicker, get that heart rate up, and you're going to see benefits from that. If you want to get out of the house a little more, find some places with some free equipment. Playgrounds and parks, which I already mentioned, are fantastic places to work out. There are usually things you can do for like pull-up bars, steps to run up, and some even have specific equipment now for exercising. I know we have a local park around town that has bars and stuff set up, and it has a workout printed right there that you can do. So I think those are becoming more popular as well. Just be a kid again, run around. Exercise doesn't have to be boring. Make it fun. A lot of local high schools or colleges also have their tracks available for public use, so take advantage of that as well. Typically a better walking surface than the cement that you would have on the sidewalks, and then you can do jogging and sprints on there too. What I love about using the track is that you know the exact distance that you're going, so you can start to set goals around times and lengths to keep challenging yourself. If it's warmer out, check out the local lakes and do some swimming. Swimming is a fantastic workout, and doing it in more open water like that can be a little more challenging, and it's going to get you in great shape. If you want to stay home, but you're looking for a little more equipment than just your soup cans and milk jugs, a couple cheaper options for you. Resistance bands are a great option and are very reasonably priced, and you can get those basically anywhere. Jump ropes are wonderful, and you can find that at a dollar store. You can pay $1 and get a jump rope, or there are workouts that you even just pretend you have a jump rope. So hey, that's an option too. Then that's absolutely free for you. If you want some bigger equipment at home so you don't have to continue paying that monthly gym fee that would save you money in the long run, there are stores that sell secondhand equipment, or you can always look at online marketplaces. There's usually a good selection of used equipment on those sites as well. If you feel like the only way that you're going to stay on track with your routine is to join a gym, you can still save some money. Take advantage of the free classes or free weeks that gyms offer so you can see if the money you would spend would be worth it. Colleges and hospitals sometimes have good deals to use their fitness centers as well, so check those out. There are also free online trials of those exercise video subscription services that we see sometimes. Some are as long as 30 days, which is enough to give you a great change in that workout. There is also financial assistance at some of those facilities, the YMCA being a very popular one. So if you really, really are struggling with budget, you can talk to people and they can help you because, again, health is very important. So we need to make sure we try to find all the assistance that we can. All right, next tip is a simple one. Just get up. You can get up and move anywhere. So take advantage, well, virtually anywhere, not if you're driving your car. Let's take that back a second. Virtually anywhere. So take advantage and walk, run, dance. I don't care, but it's all good and it's all free. Your body is built to move, so keep it happy. And last thing here, track your progress. Even if you're spending $100 a month on a gym membership, if you don't challenge yourself to keep your progress going, you're probably going to be wasting that money. So whether it's how many bicep curls you can do with soup cans or how many flights of stairs you can run in 5 minutes, keep track, set goals, and celebrate that progress. That's what's going to keep you going. All right, let's hit on the last two topics here today. Let me see what time I've got here. Got a few more minutes. Stress management. Now, this may not be a typical topic that we hear about when it comes to places where we want to save money, but I did want to include it because I don't feel like people really think about ways to deal with stress at all. So I'm going to give you some simple, cheap ways to help deal with that stress that we all have. Some more than others, but we all have some. And again, some are going to overlap with what I've mentioned in the other sections, but I think they're worth mentioning again. First one is music. Music can be a great stress reliever. You can turn on the radio, you can do a quick YouTube search, and you've got something to help de-stress that costs nothing. I will put in my headphones and do a search for streams, a campfire, or beach sounds to calm myself down a lot. Very, very effective. Whatever sounds or songs help get you to your happy place, you can use them for stress reduction. Next thing, exercise. Again, I've already told you how exercise can be cheap, and you can use this to help your stress as well. If you watch any of our webinars, you know that exercise is a fantastic stress reducer. So take advantage of those tips I already told you. It can help with your physical and mental health. Pets, again, I mentioned those in the exercise portion, but even simply petting an animal helps with stress. So after you volunteer to take that shelter dog for a walk, sit down and pet some of the dogs and cats for a bit. Research does show that petting animals lowers our body's stress response. Another one I already mentioned, clean or declutter. Coming home to a cluttered or dirty house can make stress worse. So take some time, get in some exercise with the actual cleaning, and then take some time to appreciate the work you did. And then after you're done cleaning, go outside and enjoy nature. Just going outside and experiencing nature is a known stress reducer again. If you don't have a yard, take a quick walk to a local park or trail, or even if it's busy, put those earphones in, put on some nature sounds, get outside, experience the fresh air, wherever there are a little bit of trees or a little bit of quietness to let your mind relax, and you can unwind there. Some other cheap activities are journaling and drawing or painting. Using that creative side of our brain is a great way to help just take a time out from our busy lives. Writing, whether it be a gratitude journal or simply just writing down our thoughts, good or bad, is a great way to get things out of your head and onto paper. And again, drawing or painting is another great way to just unplug and enjoy a simple activity. The next tip I have is probably one of the most effective and important stress relievers, and that is talking. It takes $0 to talk to someone you trust about your stress and help get some feedback or simply an ear to listen. If you want to talk to a professional, many of your companies have EAP or employee assistance programs that you can take advantage of to speak with a therapist for free as well, at least for a couple sessions to kind of get you started on things. Last on my tips for stress management is looking for meditation or breathing apps. There are a lot of free apps out there for your smartphones that will guide you through some visualization, meditation, or deep breathing. Insight timer is one of that a lot of the coaches will use. So that's one, again, I'm going to name drop real quick there. So that's my stress management. Last one, sleep. Again, not necessarily something that you automatically are looking for ways to save money with, but an extremely important topic to focus on. If we don't sleep well, we don't make good decisions with our health. That's the bottom line. So a couple of things to help your quality of sleep without breaking the bank. First is DIY or do it yourself for those non-HD TV watchers out there, blinds, blackout blinds specifically. Cutting out extra light is very important for sleep quality, but blackout blinds can be really expensive. So an easy trick is buy a cheap set of sheets. You can get sheets for $8. Cut them the size of your window, and then nail them under your blinds or your curtains so you can't see them. This can cut out a bunch of extra light that can seep through those blinds. If you don't want to do that, buy an eye mask. Nope, they're not just for the rich and fancy people. There is a reason they were made, and they work to cut outside that extra light. If it's more the noise that bothers your quality, buy some earplugs. If you can't quite go that far or have small kids like I do, so you can't plug out all of the noise, download a white noise app on your phone, buy a fan, or turn on the radio to static. That's going to break up some of that noise that you hear, but it won't cut out everything, so you can hear things in an emergency. There are some cheaper white noise machines out there too if you want to get a little fancier. I think I got mine for $10 at a local store. Now, I just mentioned meditation for the stress topic, but that works fantastic too to help you sleep. So you can use an app for that just a bit before bedtime to calm down and get you ready for that sleep. But one note with that, don't stare at the screen while you're listening to it, because we want to try to avoid technology as much as we can before bed. Turn off the TV, or better yet, cancel your cable. We're talking about saving money here, right? That's going to save you money, and goodness knows we spend too much time watching TV. But seriously, limit your computer, limit your phone, limit your TV use before bed to just those essential times. Our body releases hormones to make us sleep, and the lights from technology can interrupt those hormones. So there we have it. I really hope you found some ideas today to focus on your health without breaking that bank too much. One final thought for the day though, if you have a budget, fantastic. That means you're being responsible with your money. But if you find yourself thinking that you don't have money to spend on your health, it might be time to rethink where your priorities are. Money is great, but if we don't have our health, we can't enjoy our wealth, right? I know that's corny, but it's absolutely true. So take some time to think about some of those things that you may be spending your money on now that you could devote to your health instead. And hopefully you can find a good balance with the tips I gave you today, so you can have it all. So, all right, before we take questions here, just the next couple webinars. November is Navigating Wellness, Finding Reliable Health Information. It's going to be interesting. We're going to dig through how to tell if an online site is reliable for health information, and we're also going to work on decoding health claims that are on food packaging, try to make that a little clearer for everybody. And then end of the year, December, let's work on changing our mindset and changing our health for the new year, how your thoughts impact your health and what you can do to help. And then contact us, guys. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. We have the blog, which is where you're going to watch those past webinars. Also, on a separate note, but related to budget, Health Check Abby was recently featured on a local blog about her family staying financially fit, which again, different than health, but still very important. That's going to be on our blog here soon. So take a look at that too when you go on to watch this webinar again. If you have questions, give us a call, shoot us an email. Information is on there. So with that, if anyone has any questions, I will take those. Someone wanted a repeat of the name drops that I did speak, or try to be sneaky. The one with the food is Brandless, BRANDLESS,